Absolutely. I'm Mikey, and I'm the vocals for the band Islander.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me backstage at Mayhem. It's a little chaotic today, but Mayhem's starting to wind down. So how's the tour been overall for you?
It's been awesome. The crowds have been great. The other bands have been so good to us. The catering's been extremely amazing. So we're blessed. We couldn't be more grateful.
Awesome. Well, what can you share with me about what the band's working on right now?
Right now, our new record just came out, Violence and Destruction. So we're just hustling and trying to get everybody out in the world to hear it. And it's doing well. Our single went 35 on the top 40 today on Active Rock.
Congratulations.
Very much. So we're just trying to tour like crazy and meet more and more people.
Do you feel like there's more pressure for bands to have to stay on the road now?
Even if, I don't know if there's more pressure or not, but I know that even before the internet thing came along, I think that bands, something I think about sometimes, because I've never had to deal with this before. This might not be answering your question, but now I'm kind of getting off on a tangent. We have like cell phones, and even if it's poor service, we still have cell phones on tour. The internet, like, we can let people know what's going on. And the other day we were all like hanging out, and I was thinking about how, like, what was it like before there were the cell phones and the internet, and like,
No, it's absolutely, it's hard to even think back to that time of how people found out about new music and shows. And
I think, like, going back to your question, I think people are more pampered really than anything now. Like I've said, like, there's all this stuff, and before we were signed, we did DIY tours and stuff, and we still, like, you know, we do club tours and whatnot. And I don't know, all this is crazy to us because we see how fake it all is. So I don't know if people feel more pressure to tour. I just think people should want to share their music with people. So I know that we don't feel like pressure. We want to tour. So.
absolutely. So, and can you take me in the mindset for the new record, like when you guys were working on it for one or two tracks in particular, and tell me what kind of headspace the band was in?
Well, before we got to California, Orange County, where we recorded the record with Cameron Webb as the producer, we had some of the parts written for the songs and stuff, but we kind of worked best under pressure. So when we were going out to California, I didn't know what our record was going to sound like. I thought, man, like, we're pressed for time. It's going to probably just end up being this really hardcore album or something. I didn't know. I didn't even expect really to have clean vocals on it. And we got out there and we started jamming together, and just kind of happened organically. So I think that's the way every song on the record worked. It was an organic thing, and we don't pre-plan what it's supposed to sound like. We just kind of let it happen. We know that we like heavy music. We know that we like a good catchy melody thrown in. So we just kind of mix the two and see what happens.
Those elements are there and that spark kind of happens. You got to just go with the flow for where it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, speaking of changes and everything in the music industry that we were talking about earlier, you know, being as part of Mayhem Festival, have you seen social media numbers fluctuate and things like that?
Yeah, we've seen more Facebook likes, or like even like on like if we post a picture, like whereas before the tour, you know, we might get like 90 likes on it within a certain time period. Now it can go straight to like 200 within like a couple hours or something, and that's crazy for us because we're just like, man, like touring, I mean, getting out there with the people and interacting, that's what music's about. So it's been awesome. I definitely noticed numbers changing.
I'm sure.
But again, like we were actually at the old TRL studios at MTV last night, and it was kind of like this sad moment.
What is in there now?
It's a store, like a clothing shop. I can't remember which one it was, but it's like a clothing store. And we were just reminiscing about how MTV used to play music. So we would like for that to happen again. It'd be neat.
I miss it, and I feel like somebody needs to step up and go, all right, like, look, we need something. It might not be MTV, but like they need to do something along those lines. I call it media TV, or so, you know what I mean, because it's more of like what it is now.
But I mean, again, media TV is what it is. Or they should just change it to like reality, RTV, reality television, because we do need a music television station, and MTV. I think we missed what it was. So
I feel like nobody wants to talk to artists about music anymore, like, or what it means to them, and it's like I think there's a void that needs to be filled.
yeah, and then like they don't realize, but like they're slowly killing off a youth that, whereas they might have gotten into music, they're not knowing what music's about because they have no way to see it and they don't know where to go to the shows or anything like that. So we hope to be some form of something, a voice that, hey, like music's still here, it's still passionate in some bands, and we would like to see it be on television more often again.
Absolutely. So I've been asking a lot of bands what the definition of mayhem is to them. Like, what does it mean to you, even the word mayhem?
The word mayhem, for me, I'm just going to tell you the first thing that popped in my head. There used to be a Nintendo 64 game called WCW Mayhem, I believe it was, but it was Mayhem. It was one of the worst wrestling games ever released, and I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so I wish that Mayhem could have been a cool wrestling game, but it wasn't. So, yeah, that's what I think of. I always think about that game that could have been good.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes out to speak with me. I really appreciate it. We definitely look forward to seeing some more of you guys.
Thank you very much. We'll be on the road, so you'll get your chance, I'm sure. Good to meet you.